Mental health challenges can really affect anyone. It's common, but many people feel like they don't have the tools to get the help they need. The city of Kirkland is stepping in to offer mental health first aid training. Tonight, I talk with program manager Brandy Atkinson about the free classes designed to train people on how to help when someone is dealing with a mental health crisis. Well, Brandy, thanks so much for joining us here on ARC Seattle. So we're talking about mental health and some of these classes that you guys are offering. Before we get to that, how big of an issue is mental health here in King County? I mean, we see it every day here on the news, people dealing with all sorts of different issues. You guys are out there helping these people. How big of an issue is this throughout the county?
Yeah, so we know it's incredibly prevalent, not just here locally, but really a widespread issue. A lot of people deal with mental illness, substance use disorders every day. We know that 1 in 20 adults is going to experience a serious mental illness at some point in their lifetime. And 1 in 5 actually US adults experience mental illnesses in their lifetime. So it's incredibly prevalent. It's a huge issue, and it's something that King County and Valley City's behavioral health care are actively working every day to help.
And now you guys are not only offering these first aid classes, have been for a while, but you've got one coming up this weekend. You've also got coming up the week after that, one for adults, one for kids. Tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about it.
Yeah, so the in-person adult class that we'll be hosting actually this Friday with the Kirkland Police Department, that one is taught to adults helping support other adults. And then next Friday, we will hold a youth mental health first aid class also at the Kirkland Police Department. And that one is actually also taught to adults helping support youth.
So when you have these classes, what do you guys do? What does this look like? How long are these classes, and what all goes on for this first aid class?
Yeah, it's a 1 day interactive course. So typically about 6 to 7 hours. And it's really just going to teach you how to support someone who's either in crisis, dealing with a mental illness issue, or a substance use issue. So very similar to how CPR teaches people to help someone with a physical crisis, mental health first aid is going to help train someone who is at risk of developing a mental health or substance use problem, or who is going through an active crisis situation.
So is this kind of similar in a sense to maybe a broken down part of like crisis intervention training, where if you see someone going through some kind of mental health issue on the streets, you can stop and kind of know exactly what they're going through, or something to the point where at least you can call the right people to get on scene?
It's very, very similar. This class, this mental health first aid class, is geared towards the public. So you don't have to have any behavioral health background or know anything really about mental illnesses. It's really geared towards the general public so that they know how to step in when they see a crisis or someone struggling. And really, the most important part of this training is accessing local resources. So if you do see someone experiencing a crisis or a challenge, you know how to refer them to the appropriate help.
How long have you guys been holding classes like this?
We have been around since 2017. Valley City's behavioral health care is the chosen entity from King County to host these classes. And yeah, since 2017, we train approximately 1,000 to 2,000 King County residents and staff every year. And last year, we actually trained 2,317 people in mental health first aid.
So, when it comes to this kind of training for adults versus training for kids, what does that look like? What does the difference look like in those classes?
Yeah, so the adult class is going to be teaching you how to support someone who's 18 years or older. That youth class really focuses on a younger demographic, so up to 18, but really the middle school age is kind of where you would be the target demographic for that training and who you would
Y-
be supporting.
Do you guys go over the same topics? Is there anything that's different from the adult class? Do you leave anything out for the kids being younger, or is it pretty much the same stuff?
It's very similar, but in the youth class, they're going to go over certain stressors that only apply to youth. So maybe social media, the impact of bullying, things like that.
Mhm. Got it. Uh, do me a favor for our viewers here tonight. When exactly are the classes? What days? And where can people go to get more information if they wanted to go to a website, get their eyes on this just to see if this is for them?
Yeah, so next Friday, March 28th, we've got the youth class happening. That's an in-person class at the Kirkland Police Department. And then actually every month we've got virtual public classes that anyone is welcome to join. And you can sign up through our Valley City's behavioral health care website.
And I see here that you've also got one on March 21st for adults. Is that right?
That's correct. That one is actually full. So that one we were not able to have any additional registrations for that class. But the one for next Friday, the youth class is available.
Okay, and what's the cap on these classes? How many people do you guys max out at?
We can have up to 30 people per class.
Wow, so this Friday you've got 30 people. That's a pretty decent amount of people to be in one of these mental health first aid classes. It seems to me like, clearly it is a big issue. People want to have more information about.
Yeah, I think the public is just really grateful to have a class like this, especially the fact that it's at no cost right now, thanks to the King
Mm.
County mid funding. The class is absolutely free to anyone who lives or works in King County, so it's a free resource. I think everyone's just really grateful to have because it's such a prevalent need within our community.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, Brandy, thanks all for the information tonight. I know our viewers will get a lot out of this. Hopefully, some will actually show up to your first aid classes. And we thank you so much for being with us here in Arc Seattle tonight. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.